Hi, I'm Paul Marshall, a data consultant at Landmark Geodata, the UK's leading supplier of geospatial data to the environment, land, and property sectors. In this series, I'm speaking to industry experts about the use of geospatial data in their work and what's going on in the industry. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Nick French, Chair of the Global Valuation Standards Expert Working Group at the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, to talk about some of the upcoming changes to the UK valuation standards. Perhaps we could start with why are the RICS valuation standards important?
I think the most important thing is that the standing of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, the RICS or RICS, as you say, it's the main professional body for valuers in the UK and is one of the most important internationally as well. And in today's world, standards are the bedrock of any professional body. And we're not just talking about surveyors here, lawyers, doctors, consultants, accountants, a host of other professions are all ruled by regulation and by standards. It's important that it is recognised that when you join a professional body, and it takes time to join a professional body, you need the qualifications, you need to pass examinations, and then you need to work in the business until you're actually able to work independently. All that is important in building up trust and independence and professional standing. And the standards are the bedrock of that whole process. So when you go to an RICS valuer to have a valuation undertaken, you know that they are going to follow those standards. The standards are called the RICS Global Valuation Standards, but they then are linked to national supplements. Obviously, in the UK, we use the UK National Supplement, and that's the one that has just recently been updated. But oddly, the Red Book, as it used to be called, is no longer read or a book. It's PDFs available to the profession on the website. There's a little bit of red in the first page, but there's no real cover and there's no printed version of it. Um, but I think more importantly, it's two documents. And when you get valuation provided by an RICS qualified valuer, you'll get global perspective and then UK application. The two documents are used in tandem, and that is what is important.
So, why are there changes in 2024 to the RICS UK National Supplement?
Pre COVID, the RICS commissioned an independent review of investment valuations. The report was delivered in January 2022, and over the last couple of years, the RICS have been implementing those recommendations. And one of the important recommendations here, and there was a whole array of different recommendations, but one of the most important ones was to ensure that the client and the valuer had a rotation of appointment. So, in other words, that the duration of the appointment could not exceed 10 years for certain types of valuations. And these valuations were called regulated purpose valuations. In simple terms, there's those third party valuations that are undertaken and relied upon, like stock market valuations, like valuations for pension funds, etc. Um, Things like financial reporting and stock market are included in the rotation policy. Public sector and secured lending are excluded from the rotation policy.
So, how does rotation work and what does it mean for the client?
One of the big changes that was made in the UK National Supplement, which comes into effect in May of this year, in May of 2024, but was published at the end of the last year, so allows for transition and people to prepare for those changes. One of the biggest changes was if you're involved in that special subset of valuations, so not bank lending valuations, they carry on as before. You don't need to have rotation on those. But when you're employed by, let's say, a pension fund as a valuer, then not only is the independence of the valuer needed to be seen, but it also needs to be appreciated by the public. There's got to be trust in the whole process. My personal view is that valuers, RICS valuers, have always been professional, and regardless of their personal relationship with the client outside the task in hand, they have always acted professionally and independently. But that is no longer seen to be sufficient. What we need to do is show that there are processes in place to make sure that there are no relationships that are influencing the valuations. And that's what rotation is about. It's to try to ensure that valuers work for a client for a set number of years, and then another valuer comes in and works for that client for a set number of years. And without going into all the bells and whistles and all the details, it's roughly, as an individual valuer, you can work on a project, on a portfolio for 5 years, on an individual asset for 5 years. Um, and as a company, you can work for 10 years, and then the client needs to appoint a different company. So there are 2 points there. One, the valuer within the company changes after 5 years, but with a 10-year appointment, it's after the 10th year that the company itself changes. And as I say, that's all to do with ensuring public trust. And it's not unusual in the professional world. Auditors have been doing it for a number of years now. And again, I've always believed in the professionalism of the professional bodies, whether it's surveyors or whether it's accountants. But to ensure that the process is seen to be done correctly, rotation has been introduced.
Nick, thank you so much for joining us and really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. If you'd like to explore how geospatial data can save you time and support you in the valuation process, please get in touch with us via LinkedIn or Twitter at Landmark UK or email us at 90seconds@landmark.co.uk. Thanks for listening. I hope you can join us again soon.